Yes, it's true, guys. One of the best Void Legendary champions will be in a progressive 15x, going to 20, going to 25x, coming in this weekend for the summoning event that we're going to have, plus some other champions that are also great, which I'll cover in this video. But yes, Sifi, the Lost Bride, is coming through with a 15x. For the first time, I believe they've never done this before, where a 15x progressive means if you get a Void Lego, it's not Sifi, then you're going to have 20x chance for a CP, then 25x chance for a CP. These chances are low to get the legendary. It's 0.5%, but if you do happen to see the big glow, it might be CP, and it's the best chance we had, I believe, so far, and will be getting better. Why am I saying she's one of the best supports? Well, it's obvious, and I'll show you. She's in my, look at this, my Sand Devil team. She's a big part of this because she is one of, I believe, the only champion in the game with an unresistible sleep debuff, and this is my Sand Devil 25 team. Without her, my team wouldn't be able to start this way. There's no guarantee to sleep this boss, okay? So she has an unresistible sleep, then the remaining of my team goes and does their thing, and that's not the only reason that she's great. She's got a great aura for every single place that you want to go. It gives 80 resistance to all champions, so that helps a ton in specific places in the game where you need resistance to well, not get any debuffs on you. And one of those is my Hydra team. She's actually in my top Hydra team. I haven't done a key yet. Sorry about that. I haven't done a key yet, but she's in there because of her lead. She's got a great speed boosting skill, which also provides a block debuffs, an increased speed, and an increased defense buff on your ally. So 3 different buffs applied to your team, plus a speed boost. She's got a revive that fills Terminator to full, plus healing you with 55% increased attack buff and an increased critical rate buff on top of that. And then she's got the, as I said, the sleep debuff on her A1. The sleep debuff is only applied if the Terminator of the enemy that you're hitting is equal to or above 50%. So there's a way to control who you're sleeping, and if you don't want to do that and you want to heal somebody instead, then you target a different enemy which has 50% Terminator or less, and in that way you heal all allies by 5% of their max health. This is quite an insane skill, actually, if you think about it, that it does both a heal and an unresistible sleep debuff. She also has this great passive which works fantastic with Rotos. If you have both of them together, they just synergize like crazy. But she heals each ally by 10% of their max health at the start of their turn, and has a 50% chance when booked to remove freeze or fear debuffs from each ally at the start of their turn. So that again works very well against enemies which apply fear at the start. One of them is Tyrell. Other thing that applies fear at the start, well, applies fear when you hit it, is the Torment Head and the Hydra. So this is why she's just such a great champion. On top of that, you don't need to build any accuracy on her for her to apply the sleep. That's why it's unresistible. It means there's no 3% chance for the weak hit. And I'll show you my CP. She's built with 4,000 defense, 80,000 health, 401 speed, which isn't that amazing nowadays, but it used to be great. Nowadays with the 6-star awakenings and the blessings, 6-star awakenings and the empowerments, there's like 450 speed CPs and stuff. So it gets really crazy. So MVP of this summoning banner. And let me tell you about the other champions that will be offered. One of them is Tatsu. Who is Tatsu? Well, you don't really need to care who Tatsu is, but Tatsu is one of the fusion champions needed for Mikage. That's all I'm saying, guys. It's a good time to summon if you have some extras. But remember, these events are done by Platinum in order for us to spend what we have been saving in terms of shards. Right? You don't have to summon by any means. I should have said this at the start. I got a bit ahead of myself with the CV and stuff. But Tatsu, great champion. Well, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played with Tatsu. I don't plan on playing with Tatsu at all. She was offered through a champion training tournament, I want to say almost a year ago, back in the summer of 2023, and I didn't even go for that. I didn't we didn't know Mikage would be a thing back then. If I did, I would have gone for her, but I didn't. Good thing is I do have all the epics needed for Mikage, so I'm definitely not going to be summoning. I think that's the only selling point of summoning for this champion, getting 1 out of 4 for Mikage, right? Next up on the list of champions for this is Noct the Paralyzer. Noct the Paralyzer, I think... what is he? Is he a Dark Elf? I gotta find him. There he is. He's Dark Elf. I think he applies a sleep. Not that amazing though, because this is an attack. It can weak hit, so you cannot use it in the same way that you would use Siphi for the Sand Devil, but he does have a way to apply poisons. Pretty cool. Or other than that, I don't think he's an amazing champion. I did playtest him a while ago when he was first ever launched on the test server. I didn't find him to be that great, but I could be mistaken. He could be a great champion for the clan boss. And if you do have more experience with him, leave it in the comments down below for players out there who want to know a little bit more. But I think the normal shards champions, the MVP here, will be the next one that I'm gonna call out. And well, the next two that I'm gonna call out, but I'm gonna call out Gaius first instead of the big selling one. So Gaius, another champion with the sleep debuff, but also bombs. I like Gaius a ton for, well, I actually use him in my, I think he's in my Ice Golem Hard 10 team, just to be an additional way to do a little bit of damage on the Ice Golem boss through bombs. And he applies a sleep first. The enemies are asleep for, well, 1 turn, but the bombs are for 2 turns duration. So when they're out of sleep, they are with 1 turn duration on a bomb. So unless they have a cleanse, they're dead. Well, unless they beat you first before the bombs go. But there's a trick with him. His passive, when attacked, has a 30% chance of placing a bomb debuff and instantly detonates all bomb debuffs on all enemies whenever this champion is killed. So if you kill him, and the bombs happen to land on you because of this, or he had bombs already on you, well, there's a good chance you're dead, right? Have that in mind before you go crazy on killing Gaius. I think he was like a great fusion way back. I don't think he was a fragment event, but great fusion. If you do happen to get him, you should be happy. He's a good champion. It's a weird thing gearing up bomb champions, comparing them to other nukers. You focus on attack percent instead of crit rate and crit damage. So have that in mind before you go crazy on that. And then finally, one of Plium's favorite, and I know will say it's their favorite champion to put on a banner, summoning banner. That's how I call them anyway. They don't call them summoning banners. Summoning events is what they call them, but other games call them summoning banners. That's how it got stuck in my head. Anyway, Prince Kaimar. For the progressive, if you want a copy of Prince Kaimar, if you want another Prince Kaimar, this is your chance to get him. He's going to be progressive. I like Prince Kaimar a lot. I have 3 of them. I actively use 2 of them in many teams. One is PvP, one is PvE strictly. I could have used the 3rd one for a different PvE build, but I thought, come on, this is getting a little bit too crazy with the Prince Kaimar, so I thought I wouldn't build it and try to change up my teams accordingly so I can use the PvP Kaimar in one of my teams. But if I really wanted to be, 100% efficient with everything, I would have built my 3rd Kaimar. And just to give you guys an idea on where my Kaimar is, here's my boy. I recently got a 5-star blessing on him, but here's my boy. Not that crazy in terms of stats, like almost 700 accuracy, 320 speed, and the other stats don't really matter. If you're doing PvP for PvP builds, you can build them with Stone Skin. If you do have good Stone Skin, it helps you with any fear debuffs from like a Taras. But you gotta be careful when using his sleep debuff, because this can be tricky against enemies with the polymorph, because you can get polymorphed, and if it's the first enemy that you're hitting with the sleep debuff, you can get polymorphed and then not apply the sleep on anybody else. Let me just show you like one of the teams I have. It's this one. I use both CV and Kaimar. CV boosts up the defense for a defensive nuker, which is my boy Soilless here, and then I have a Yumiko in there as well. And you see all that combo together. CV provides the damage boost plus the speed boost. Soilless does the damage. Prince Kaimar does the lockout plus a reset on Yumiko, and it's like an endless loop of resets because Kaimar resets Yumiko. Yumiko cannot reset Kaimar, but it's basically a 2 in a row kind of reset team. So it's pretty interesting when you're fighting some specific teams, because Kaimar can slip them. I want to find some with maybe like a polymorph to show you guys. If I happen to get polymorphed, this one's got 2 polymorphs. Let's see, this one's got, yeah, let's just go with the 2 polymorphs. It's a low chance. I think it's like 5%. So unlikely for the polymorph to hit us, but it's still there. The chance is still there. So it's a good summoning event. There's also some epics I want to cover after this fight. The epics are also great because well, they are progression epics, and I'll show you guys what I mean in just a second. We didn't get slept there, not slept, polymorphed, so I guess that was just a normal fight. So let me show you what I mean by the epics. First one's first, Demon Spawn. If we have a look at, I would say the Fire Knight favorite, it's Allure. A1 triple hitting, decreases turn meter by 25% for each critical hit. MVP for Fire Knight, not so much for Fire Knight hard, but for Fire Knight 20 and 25 MVP. She can work great in Doom Tower as well. Very specific use on bosses where their turn meter can be manipulated, and you use Allure for that, and she drops their turn meter low. And well, she keeps it low. You don't need to book her, you just give her 100% crit accuracy enough for wherever you're gonna use her, and then you just spam those A1s. You lock out her A2 and A3 so she doesn't use that, and then just watch her do her thing. Amazing champion for progression. Amazing. Next one is Tyrell, another champion. It's a sleep debuff craziness here. Tyrell actually got recent use out of me from Cintranos. I was pushing Cintranos. He was fantastic using this A2, which sleeps enemies if there's a decreased attack already. So if you have a champion that can apply a decreased attack already on enemies, he can do an AoE sleep plus an attack that applies decreased defense. So can, in this sense, control enemies with Tyrell. Very, very strong epic. By far my favorite in terms of, like, if I could choose one epic to start an account, Tyrell would be it. It's a very nice epic to have, and you know, considering what he provides and the help he provides in all areas. So he's definitely in my top 10 epics, I would say, that are non-void epics. All right, non-void epics. Then next one up is Cornelia, YST's favorite champion. You guys know YST. He loves Cornelia. He loves to make videos on Cornelia. I think he has the most Cornelia videos on YouTube or something. So yeah, her skill set is specific because she sleeps, well, the enemies, but she can also sleep herself or an ally. And when they are awoken from that sleep, she recovers their health, which is completely nuts. And in that sense, made Cornelia a champion that can solo many different bosses on the Doom Tower. So have that in mind. If you're looking for something, as long as you can push the gear with her, you'll be able to even solo some bosses on the Doom Tower with her. And then finally, we have the 2 voids offered up through this 15x. It's Seer and Ayla Lifebraid. So, I mean, is there any way that I can avoid introducing Seer? Well, Karma Burn clears the waves, can do millions of damage to enemies. I'm not gonna say anything more, guys. I don't need to say more. If you're looking for a void epic that clears waves, Seer is it. Get her, and then you look for YouTube videos on her. I've made tons of them on budget ways of boosting her damage, end game ways of boosting her damage. It's MVP. I have 2 Seers just to get that in your head. And then Ayla, I don't even know which one Ayla is. I think it's her. Ayla Lifebraid. She has a very interesting passive, by the way. Look at this. 12% chance of activating an instant turn effect, which is basically what Relentless set does. On this champion or an ally after using any active skill. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. Pretty insane, right? A passive that basically gives you Relentless set. Pretty insane. I love it. I love it, actually. She also has the sleep on the A2. And that's pretty much it for the epics. For the legendaries, there are also some other legendaries for voids that will be offered in this 15x, specifically Chagor, who I will say is good for the Sand Devil. By no means, though, better than Sifi. And I will explain why. Because his A1 sleep, it's good, but it's not 100% chance. So it already applies a way for you to fail your runs on Sand Devil. Even with 2 Chagors in your team, you can still fail the run. And it happens. So it depends. If you're somebody who likes 100% efficiency teams, he's not it. Even if the chances for that are low, it's what it is. Also, he can apply a decreased defense plus poisons, and when poisons activate on a target, so before they basically take a turn, he goes in and instantly attacks with his attack. So basically, he can keep the Sand Devil boss, as an example, always asleep. But as I said, the problem still lies with this one, since the chance to apply the sleep is not 100%. It's 75%, goes to 80% if you use specific masteries, but still not enough. I would say it's not enough because it fails 1 out of 5. I mean, come on. This should have been 100%, honestly. Just because. Well, just because. I mean, there's already the 3% chance to get resisted. So on top of that, I mean, come on. Come on. And then finally, Clydna, one of the worst champions in Raid. I would say I covered her, and my thumbnail for her was a trash bin, all right? And her together. Same thing. I don't know why she was made, just to dilute the pool of champions in Raid. Good thing is, for the 15x progressive, you choose what you want. So you guys are either going to choose Chagor or Sifi, right? Not her, please. The sleep that she applies sucks. 70% chance. Same reason as Chagor on why this is bad, but hers is even worse. Okay? A2, decrease speed, leech on all enemies. I mean, come on. And then A3, block debuffs and revive on death. Block debuffs is a 3-turn cooldown. But come on. Is that all for a Void Legendary? 30% chance to completely block incoming damage of the first hit of an attack. Of the first hit, and then occurs once per turn. This is stupid. This shouldn't have been occurs once per turn. If this was always available and for all allies as well, this would have been great. Or at least if this had completely block damage every single time, but then had the 1 turn, that would have been better. But it's not. So she sucks. Definitely the worst Void Legendary that you can get. I would say, even if I think of other Void Legendaries, she still sucks. So have that in mind, guys. This was the video. Just big summons coming into for the summoning event. Remember, you gotta do this if you are looking to get the 5-star soul for Armans. You gotta do most events. You can only skip 250 points. So count the events that you missed. If you missed more than 250 points, the 5-star is out of your reach. So you're going for the 4-star by the end of the 2 weeks, right? So have that in mind, guys. This was the video. Thank you all. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.